In New York this week, the term Twin Towers has taken on a new meaning. 14 feet of basketball brilliance intent on denying this city an NBA title. David Robinson. He's worked his entire professional career for an NBA championship. A championship that now may be only hours away. Tim Duncan is in just his second NBA season. But without him, there could be no ring for Robinson. Duncan has accepted that responsibility and is determined to get his running mate the prize he covets most. But if Duncan is to lead the charge toward a title for the Admiral, he'll need all hands on deck against a Knicks team that has shown it will fight to the last. Tonight at Madison Square Garden, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, and the San Antonio Spurs seek their crowning achievement. Game 5 next.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1999 NBA Finals. Tonight, Game 5, the San Antonio Spurs versus the New York Knicks.
In New York, they still believe, but no team has ever come back from a 3-1 deficit to win the finals. No team has ever won Games 6 and 7 of the finals on the road. On the other hand, David Robinson and the Spurs have closed out their 3 previous playoff series away from home. And odds are they'll do it again tonight if Tim Duncan scores 28 points and pulls in 18 rebounds as he did in Game 4. The Knicks will need a big performance again from Letrell Sprewell, averaging 24 a game in the series. Marcus Camby, 20 points and 13 rebounds in Game 4. Camby says that the Knicks are better than the Spurs. Well, they were when Allan Houston scored 34 points. In the other 3 games, when he scored 19 or 20, the Spurs prevailed to bring them to the brink of their first NBA championship. Welcome to Madison Square Garden for Game 5 with Doug Collins. I'm Bob Costas. The San Antonio Spurs are heading home after tonight's game. The question is, do the New York Knicks go with them? Or is the only thing they take back from New York the championship trophy?
Well, Bob, when you talk about San Antonio, we know that their offense goes through Tim Duncan and David Robinson. But it's really been the play of their supporting cast that's been the difference. In Game 1, Jaren Jackson, 5 threes, 17 points. In Game 2, it was Mario Elie with his beautiful drive and dunk, and he had 15. And then in Game 4, their little leader, Avery Johnson, the little running hook, 14 points and 10 assists. And sort of the forgotten man offensively, Sean Elliott, he had 14 and 4. And when the supporting cast plays well, they win. Duncan and Robinson's numbers have been very consistent. 41 points and up through this series, but you see the number there on the right of the graph, 39, 36, and 48. The supporting cast, when they have scored well, they've won. 23 points in the loss. So if the supporting cast comes through once again tonight, I think that trophy will be going back to San Antonio.
When you speak of the Knicks, though, you have to admire them. This is a strange team. It's a flawed team. But to a man, the Spurs say, look, our opponent is undermanned. They're hurt. They're without Patrick Ewing. They're outsized, but they fight us to the final buzzer. And even if he's wrong, you got to like Marcus Camby, who says we're still better than they are, even after they've beaten them 3 out of 4. So if they go tonight, especially in their building, they won't go quietly.
No, Bob, but what they're going to have to do, they're going to have to penetrate that Spurs defense. They got off to a slow start in the first quarter, 9 shot blocks in the game, and after the first quarter, the New York Knicks shot only 35%. The block by Duncan. Allan Houston with the post up, the block by Robinson. Sprewell to the basket again. Here comes Tim Duncan once again. And watch the defense on this possession. Allan Houston is driven in to 3 San Antonio defenders. They swing the ball to the weak side. The great rotation. And he's going to be driven into 3 defenders here once again. Camby looks like he's got a shot. He passed it off to Larry Johnson and the shot block. New York must play from ahead. They got off to a slow start. Midway through the second period, San Antonio took the lead. They never recovered. Bob, if you're going to look for some keys tonight, it's going to be rebounding. They got pounded on the boards. And more importantly, Jeff Van Gundy says when Larry Johnson scores, we win. They're going to need an effort from him tonight.
Now back to the Spurs. David Robinson has waited a decade for this, but maybe it's a little bit like Christmas. The year may fly by. You get to Christmas Eve, and it seems like it takes forever for Christmas morning to arrive. David Robinson is now one victory away, and he can taste it.
When you get to one, you know, you're thinking this is a great opportunity. You know, we got to come out and play our best game of the series, the best game of the playoffs, and if we're able to do that, then we can win this whole thing.
The lineups for Game 5, unchanged from the past couple of games at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks have been forced to play Allan, Houston, and Letrell, Sprewell heavy minutes. 44 minutes per game for each of them in this series. In the case of Houston, for example, 8 minutes above his regular season average per game. Let's check with Allan.
All right, thanks, Bob. I talked to Greg Popovich before the game. He's talking about closure. He said tonight is the night they want to put this team away. Come out strong. He says they let them hang around. They're way too dangerous. They lose tonight, they can be in trouble. He said to a man on this team, their goal, win tonight, pick up that NBA trophy.
But he went on to say, however, that there'll be no trophies being lifted here tonight at the Garden. Bob?
Refrain is a familiar one by now. Not in our house. Let's see if the Knicks can make it stick. Allan Houston to Larry Johnson between two defenders who make him miss. Robinson, the move he likes best, across the lane, moving right to left. But the ball belongs to the Knicks. Sprewell. It spins out for him. Duncan, another rebound. Sean Elliott off the dribble into the lane and a whistle.
Remember now in Game 4, San Antonio made a very conscious effort to get Elliott and Avery Johnson in the game early. It is when Mario Ellie picked up a quick foul. He moved over to play Allan Houston, so we'll have to watch as the matchups go tonight. But again,
Sprewell gets into the paint, but can't finish. Duncan over Johnson. Doesn't get the bounce. Houston. Nice move. Started to drive, slammed on the brakes, hit the short pop.
Made a nice effort there to get that little jumper.
From 20 feet, Tim Duncan is perfect.
Now that doesn't happen by accident, Bob. I was out here watching them shoot around before the game, and he...
Sprewell around Allan. Houston. Gets it back from Ellie. Back to Ellie for the set shot that's no good, and Elliott flies in trying to finish it. But it'll be New York ball. 6-4. Charlie Ward misses the three. For the rebound is Sprewell. That time Johnson was left alone, and he's out about a 6 or 7 inch height disadvantage. Sprewell pulls up and misses. It back. Ellie to David Robinson, follows his own shot, hits it, plus the foul.
His foot might be in that little dotted line area. If it is, it has to be either a no call or a block. And actually, David Robinson with a foul. And more importantly, Bob, that's already 5 fouls now for New York. So San Antonio will shoot free throws the rest of the quarter. And you talk...
Avery Johnson into the paint. Elliott all alone. Sean Elliott misses what would have been a three-pointer. Ward pegs it ahead to Sprewell. Between two defenders, left hand, bumped by Elliott, and a foul.
Involved in this game early, you can see they've already taken 8 of the 10 field goal attempts. Allan Houston has really done well with this in this series, that little pull-up jump shot. Sprewell, with that electric quickness of his, gets to the basket. And then once again, that low post position, and Allan Houston turning and shooting before the double team can get to him. Now, why is it important to get these guys going at the same time? Because, Bob, when these two guys score over 20 points, they're 8-1 when they score them together. The only loss of the night was Game 4. So the scoring of these guys is vital.
But he's averaging 26 points. Except for Game 1, he's gotten to the foul line a lot.
Well, when you talk to Greg Popovich, the one thing he says is we want to keep Allan Houston and Sprewell off the free throw line.
Avery Johnson into Duncan, but it's swiped away by Sprewell. He takes off, and all Avery Johnson can do is grab him. gets the ball in the open court, it's a bit like Gale Sayers on a broken field run. You're at. Robinson over Thomas.
See, that's your concern now. They're 3 of 12 and the game is tied. And if you're in New York with this cold spell, that's when you want to get that little cushion.
Larry Johnson with Duncan on him. Surrounded by Spurs, goes to the hook and gets the roll.
Well, he needed that kind roll, but once again, the degree of difficulty on those shots for Larry Johnson, he's been so cold from the three-point line too.
Duncan from the left side this time, and he goes to the bank once more.
How confident is that? He steps out there, shoots that basketball, posts up.
Johnson again to the left hand, and again with the 2 points.
And Tim Duncan's upset at himself now. Bob, this is a first-team All-League defender. And
Mario Ellie tried to return it to Duncan. Ball swatted away. Houston looking to save it. Ellie had to hoist it up there to beat the 24-second clock. But it's a violation anyway as the ball didn't hit the rim. They start the offense again with Houston out on the right side. He gets a screen and pops a 3. It's long and the rebound is taken by Robinson. Avery Johnson trying to find Duncan. It's broken up. And it's Nick Ball as Sprewell snatches it. Houston's hands. Thomas sets the screen for him. Gets it back. And connects.
remember in game 1 now he had 13 points and 16 rebounds. So they run the last 2 plays for him, and even though he's undersized, he's going to try to get that ball to the rim. Gets in the paint, and you see David Robinson and Duncan both converge on him. The kind little bounce here off the rim, and then the next possession they go back to him once again, this time with a nice roll with the left-hand hook shot as he goes into the paint over Tim Duncan. And it's going to be important again for him to score, because when he scores, you see game 3, Bob, he had 16. That's the win. In the other games, he averaged 5 points. So they...
Jaren Jackson is in, Mario Ellie out, David Robinson to the bench, Malik Rose in, and a nicely executed play with Tim Duncan picking up the assist on an Avery Johnson basket.
Well, that's...
Allan Houston with the jumper. Good again.
Now, if you run a clinic, you take that right there and you show it to young people.
For 15 since a big game 1. Duncan against Thomas. His moves in the post are so much more polished than you'd expect from any player, really, let alone a second-year player. Sprewell into Thomas. Hurt Thomas in a crowd, knocked away from him, but a foul. It's the foul-prone Malik Rose, who always plays hard, but often hears the whistle.
Bob, we talk about so often that the Spurs offense is going to go through Duncan and Robinson. This time, the little soft pass in the lane as he throws it right over Charlie Ward's shoulder. This time, the single coverage, he gets himself deep. Watch how he spins there with that footwork. Great success now. They've got themselves a 3-point lead here as Kurt Thomas shoots it to make it 4. Dudley comes in. Larry Johnson gets a little rest. 1:58 to go. Let's see what happens here in about this last 2 minutes.
Houston to the drive. Hit the side of the glass with it. He has it back. Sprewell's open. Won't take the 3. Instead drives and hits.
Be 27 points at the end of the first quarter. Tonight, only 15.
Joe Crawford says hold on as the Knicks have established their biggest lead at 6.
And he just blows by you and gets to the basket. Just a little crack of daylight's all he needs.
To Sprewell. Sprewell's little fadeaway is short. Jaren Jackson has the rebound. Here is Jackson hitting a 3.
Uh-oh. Bob, you nicknamed him the Eliminator in the Los Angeles series.
And he's been anything but hot since game 1. Ward, little floater.
They'll penetrate for the jump shot, but Houston's going to try to get his own score here.
Everybody up at the Garden. 5 seconds. Houston off the dribble, leans in, beats the buzzer, but doesn't get the bounce.
Allan Houston is very, very upset. He felt like he got fouled. The referee ruled that he broke the plane of verticality and jumped in and created the contact. That's why there was no whistle there.
I love it when you refer to the plane of verticality. Knicks 23, Spurs 20 after 12 minutes. You're watching the NBA Finals on NBC. Ward to Thomas, and now Childs. Behind Thomas's screen. Childs is now 4 for 19 in the series.
They need Childs.
Childs played only 7 minutes on the bum knee in Game 4. Duncan. Close to unstoppable. You can maybe make him take a more difficult shot, but you can almost never stop him from getting it off. Sprewell, baseline drive. He was fouled. It could have been a three-point play. As it is, he'll shoot 2.
To Letrell Sprewell here, regular season, what he's done, little by little gotten better. And remember now, the last couple games of the Pacers series without Ewing, Larry Johnson gets hurt, and in this series, it's been he and Allan Houston have been the offense for New York.
And in comparing Sprewell to Kobe Bryant, you're talking about two guys whose first step is as quick as an eye blink. Foul a moment ago was on Duncan, his first. And Jackson lost it with Sprewell hounding him.
Ball pressure, really an unforced error that time.
Thomas against Malik Rose. Hits over him.
So that's what they're going to do, Bob. Anytime that they take out either Duncan or Robinson, they're going to try to post that man up. And Malik Rose does not have the size to play against Kurt Thomas. Not find the range on that outside jumper that was so good to him against Indiana.
Robinson, 2 defenders. Misses over them. Now Johnson. Left hand, got it off the glass.
Larry Johnson can have success against Malik Rose. They're very, very similar players. Teaming off of him, that's why he's getting that three-point shot.
Robinson's jumper is short. Allan Houston around Kerr to the basket.
So this is the pressure that New York wants right here. They want that clock burning down against them. Right now it's 10 and they still haven't gotten into anything.
But Duncan can take care of a lot of lapses.
That's not a bad option, is it, Bob?
Johnson spinning, dumping it off for Robinson, but an offensive foul.
One thing that New York has got to stay away from, those scoring droughts that gets themselves in trouble.
Houston.
When in doubt, go to Allan Houston.
He's got 10, has it. Duncan slings it cross court to Elliott. Touch pass inside to Robinson against Dudley. Shot hook. Good.
That was those kind of shots, they'll be okay.
Foul was Elliott's second. Kurt Thomas misses the open jumper. Duncan with Thomas on him. Little fadeaway jumper is good.
Now that was a powerful move that time by Duncan. He actually got banged and he was able to continue on through and finish that shot.
Chris Childs catch and shoot. Mario Ellie with the bounce to Robinson. Camby pokes it away and Houston takes it. Knicks with numbers. Houston the lob for Sprewell, but they can't quite finish it. Robinson got inside, and all Houston could do was grab him.
Had this play gone through, Allan Houston, a great pass, and Sprewell just a little bit out of his reach where he couldn't quite get a handle on it and finish it. That would have given him an 8-point lead.
Mario Ellie on the move, left hand, he was fouled.
If you watch Inside Stuff tomorrow, Bob.
Thanks. Mario Ellie hits them both. Childs has it back. Now Houston, 6 on the 24. It'll be Camby, and it'll be New York by 6.
Allan Houston is just creating shots for everybody.
Bennett Salvatore waves it off. He traveled. Course of losing Game 3. Survived 17 turnovers to win Game 4. Tonight, they've given it up 9 times. Sprewell, tough shot with a hand in his face, and it won't go. Duncan. How do you stop him?
Well, you don't.
Duncan and 17 for Robinson in Game 4. And between them, they have 13. 7 for the Admirals, 6 for Duncan in Game 5. Pass for Johnson. Knicks lose it. Robinson returns it to Johnson. Now here's Elliott. Swatted away by can be taken by Johnson, who beats the shot clock and hits.
Well, that's tough luck there for New York. Great defense. The ball's knocked over, loose ball, and Avery Johnson picked up and through all this.
Boy, will he play those passing lanes.
Oh, Bob, how fast he closes the distance between that pass. You try to make that pass over 20 feet, he's going to shoot the gap and get the score.
And Avery Johnson wisely didn't even try to catch up to foul him. He just let him go. Now it's Sprewell again, but this time he got a piece of Robinson for the foul.
That's why Elliott has to be aggressive on defense. He's just playing the passing lanes, running off Sean Elliott. That time he steps in front of him. But Bob, on this last play, as you see with this great finish, on the last play, Sean Elliott is in the corner. He's all the way down in the corner. He's just not even playing Sean Elliott. He's just playing the passing lane. And they call the foul on Sprewell, and Robinson will. Sprewell has got to burn some energy on the defensive end, and right now he's just playing free safety.
The foul was Spree's first. And for the last minute, Antonio Daniels hit some big shots in Game 3 that didn't play in Game 4. It's Robinson leaning in and spinning it home.
Camby's got to stay on his feet. If he gets up in the air, that's where you get that third foul, because Robinson's going to jump into you, top of you. And you can see in the playoffs as he's gone along, he had a great series against Portland. Defensively, he was terrific to help Shaq. And then 17 points and almost 12 rebounds. And in the wins, they blocked at least 7 shots combined, he and Tim Duncan.
Sprewell against Elliott. His pass knocked away by Robinson. Still game clock.
Watch Sprewell sneaking down the lane here. He looks for that little quick pass.
Instead it goes into Houston. He pulls up and fires. The rebound is grabbed by Antonio Daniels. Daniels on the move. Contact. Ball not free. Childs almost stole it. San Antonio has it.
See if he gets Camby out, because Camby will get his third foul. And you got to get him out and protect him, because 4 fouls in the second half is a lot better than 2. This is a great substitution here by Jeff Van Gundy.
And here comes the oldest player in the NBA, 41-year-old Herb Williams, 4 years older than his coach. He was a star at Ohio State during the Carter administration. Popular here at the Garden. The applause is for him. Here's Jaren Jackson. Fires the 3 and hits it, and San Antonio, with 6 seconds remaining, takes a 2-point lead. Sprewell hurrying back. Has to let it go. Someone got a piece of it, and that's the way the first half ends, with the Knicks, who led by as many as 8, now trailing by 2. And Jaren Jackson has hit a couple of big shots in this first half for San Antonio after being ice cold, just 2 of 15 since Game 1.
Well, he's going to keep shooting, Bob. That's what he's going to do. That's what he does best. Hit 2 big ones tonight. His team leads. Big lift going into the halftime.
Stay tuned for the Prudential Halftime Report. Hannah Storm will be joined by Isaiah Thomas, Peter Bessie, and Bill Walton on the Showtime set. Bob Costas back along with Doug Collins. Third quarter about to start. Quick thought on the outlook here in the second half.
New York has to score. Remember, Bob, Game 4, they got outscored 9-0, went from 4 to 13. They never recovered from that. They want to play from ahead, and you can see they led almost 20 minutes of that first half. That little drought in the last 7.5 minutes, the 8-point lead to the 2-point deficit. They've got to score. They've got to come out here and have offensive efficiency.
Letrell Sprewell can be screening for him. Sprewell blows by Robinson, who catches up and blocks it from behind. Elliott from Duncan returns it to him. His turnaround. Larry Johnson got a piece of that.
Duncan, that's their third block.
And New York turns it over. Robinson to that hook, but it comes up short.
Make it 5.
A New York turnover as Robinson steals it. Duncan can't put a stop to it. Johnson, Duncan on him. Fakes the jumper, goes to the drive, misses with the left hand, and Robinson is there to clear it. Avery Johnson bounces to the driving Jaren Jackson, and San Antonio has the first points of the half.
Like timely shooting by somebody all playoffs.
Charlie Ward into the lane. Running one-hander, spins out. Jaren Jackson hoists up a three, and suddenly he's hot again.
Here's the same start that we saw in the third quarter. Now, the game has gone from 2 to 7, and Jeff Van Gundy's got to be very, very upset. Their offensive efficiency has been awful, and Jaren Jackson runs the floor, lays the ball in the basket, and this guy's sort of their wild card. If he's shooting the ball well, fine. If he's not, they take him out of the game. And here it is once again, Bob, the kick out. Allan Houston way too far away from him, in no position to help, and he buries a three. So 5 quick points here from Jaren Jackson.
In fact, their last 8 dating back to the end of the second quarter for the eliminator.
So that's right. And you see their 23-8 run. And remember, we talked about the droughts of New York. They just don't have enough firepower to fight through these periods of time.
Fourth as he tries to defend him. Charlie Ward now on the drive. Back outside to Spree. He gets into the lane but doesn't take the ball with him. San Antonio on the run. Here's Mario Elie, and he's clobbered by Larry Johnson. This is true for the opera singer Mario Lanza. And the whole tenor of this game has changed as the Spurs have now scored 13 unanswered points dating back to the second quarter. Johnson. The block will be on San Antonio. After 3 minutes and 10 seconds of the third, the Knicks have scored.
And tonight, he's sort of been the difference in this game right now as they've taken the lead.
And here's Charlie Ward sneaking in and poking it away from Duncan. So the Knicks have it back. Houston hoists the three and misses it. Elie and Robinson playing a two-man game. The Admiral with the hook. And Ward with the rebound. Here's Houston to the hoop for the first field goal for the Knicks. 5 on the 24. 3 seconds to shoot. They swing it to the side for Jackson. And a shot clock violation. He wanted the foul. Well, Johnson has it back, spinning on Duncan. Houston. It's a 2. He wasn't quite behind the line.
The defensive end, you can run. Allan Houston is out running, and if you notice, Tim Duncan is slow getting back, so it's 2 smaller players back on defense. No shot blocking. You lower your head, you take that ball to the basket. And then Larry Johnson with a little whirling dervish, he kicks it out of the double team. Allan Houston actually with a hand in his face, the shot clock down to 1, he buries it. The lead is down to 4. Watching the NBA Finals on NBC.
Spurs up 4. Knicks have scored 5 unanswered points. Here's Duncan. Ball squirts free. Duncan reclaims it. 5 seconds to shoot. Avery Johnson leans in, but can't hit. Sneaking in for the steal, though, is Mario Elie. Jackson feeling it. Misses the 3 this time. Sprewell with the rebound. Charlie Ward looking for Houston, who's been hot.
Stepped out of bounds.
He was on the sideline before the shot.
Wow, we got to remember that. That would have made it a 1-point game.
Jaren Jackson on the drive. And he traveled. Larry Johnson to Camby. Marcus Camby missing on the run. Duncan will take it. Houston knocks it away from Elie. Spurs ball, 8 on the 24. Jaren Jackson out to Avery Johnson. 3 seconds to shoot. Avery has it stripped away by Charlie Ward. Here come the Knicks. Sprewell.
Ball game. And Letrell Sprewell just ignites this crowd. He takes off. The powerful finish. See, those big guys aren't back on defense, Bob. When you can get out and run like that, you keep those shot blockers out of the game. New York needs more of that. We've seen this the entire series.
8 straight Knickerbocker points. Duncan can't put a stop to it. The rebound to Sprewell. Spurs and finally giving it up to Ward, but not for long. New York has the lead. Sprewell with 15. 10-0 New York run. Mario Elie
section 3 and a big one for San Antonio.
Wow, that quiets the crowd right there. Goes from now a 1-point deficit up to Mario Elie. We've seen him do that so very often. And
Sprewell, who seems to be everywhere, grabs the rebound, brings it up, pops the shot, ties the game.
this guy's unbelievable. When he gets on one of those rolls, he might make 6 in a row and then miss his next 8 shots. Robinson challenging every shot in the low post.
50-50, and San Antonio loses it. Here comes Charlie Ward all the way. Knicks have the lead.
They have to defend. Charlie Ward gets a great steal, throws it ahead, and Sprewell, this was the 3-point play. Look at the eyes as he goes to the basket. Then Letrell Sprewell once again on that baseline. He's everywhere right now. Larry Johnson finds him. Who's guarding this man? You've got to get close to him. And once again, Letrell Sprewell comes off the screen and roll. The big man slow getting there, and Letrell Sprewell pulling up and knocking the shot down. But the defense has been able to trigger this entire thing. And then Charlie Ward finishes it off with a terrific run here that's given New York a 2-point lead. Ward with a layup. The lane parts. San Antonio has to call timeout. The Knicks are surging. No shot clock. And the Knicks do. So the Knicks on offense are going to know what the clock is. San Antonio's not. I don't know if Greg Popovich is talking to him, and he's going to say, you're going to have to make an announcement to let us know how much time. And so you'll probably hear it at 10 and then at 5, so San Antonio understands how much time they have to shoot. It hurts them now to have to go over and sit down. They got it rolling right now.
So how much is this argument truly about the clock, and how much is a ploy by Popovich to slow the Knicks' momentum?
I think it's a little of both, but I will tell you right now, Bob, it's a tremendous advantage to have that shot clock on your basket and not.
And as they try to straighten things out, we'll step aside for just a moment.
To install on each end of the court shot clocks that they have in reserve, as you can now see on the end where the San Antonio Spurs will be shooting. That clock has been installed. Now the Knicks wanted to continue on the regular shot clock on the other end. However, Joey Crawford has determined that both clocks on the floor have to be used, and now they are both in place. That clock that you see right there will be turned off. Bob?
I'll tell you one thing, where they place the 24-second clock, I can't see it.
I was going to say the same thing.
It's out of our view. Here's Duncan, stumbling to the floor, might have been tripped. Apparently he was. He leads Sprewell. Back to Houston, around Elliott. Here's his jumper going. Duncan double team, scores anyway, plus the foul.
He and Robinson were 0 for 6 in this quarter, so that's his first field goal. His and Robinson's first 3 points of the quarter. They now trail by 1.
Inside 2 minutes to play in the third. Letrell Sprewell. They had him surrounded. He scored anyway.
Down against him right now. This is where San Antonio gets themselves in trouble. Start standing around.
5 seconds to shoot. Duncan will. And he banks it home from long range.
Into 5 straight points by Duncan now.
Here's Houston into the lane. But he traveled. Compare anyone to Michael Jordan. But remember how, when the Bulls' offense, sophisticated as it was, bogged down, you could always just go to Michael. That's sort of the case here.
But what Kurt Thomas has got to do on the floor, that's his shot. Now he's got to crowd him. There you go. Now get help from the weak side.
But don't foul him.
That's right. In second, he's averaging a little over 26. So these guys obviously are the main men. And once again, Spurs have taken the advantage by 1. Bob, I think with all the run and everything.
By 1. Sprewell gets his man off his feet and scores again. Sprewell is 5 for 5 in this quarter. Sean Elliott deals to Malik Rose. And there's a New York foul.
He struggles on the offensive end.
Sprewell, scorching hot.
Doesn't stay that way. Dudley rebounds, but before he can put it back in, a loose ball foul on him.
And breathing. I mean, he says, get me the ball. We got 10 seconds to go. I'll get us another basket here when we go in this fourth period.
No wonder Van Gundy had that pained expression on his face. Second one spills off. Spurs by 1. Last 4 seconds. Houston gets into the lane. Deals it out to Camby. Beats the buzzer, but misses.
Trail by only 1.
For the Spurs, 12 minutes to a title. For the Knicks, 12 minutes to book a flight to San Antonio. Familiar faces among the 19,763 at the Garden include Tim Hutton, Soon Yi and Woody. They're regulars. Matt Dillon is here. Rick Moranis on hand. He was part of the championship teams in 70 and 73. Bill Bradley. Billy Crystal here as always. A bevy of Bills. Billy Baldwin is here. And the always understated Macho Camacho, tastefully attired. Matthew Modine cheering the Knicks on. Both corner clocks are on now. Here's Sprewell on his game, but Duncan gets there to block it. Spree tried to save it, but into Rose's hands. And the corner clocks, which have been rolled onto the floor, are on. Duncan spins and hits off the glass. He's almost too good.
How good is that? The spin off the glass looks like New York is too late getting there. Sprewell, and look at that shot, one-handed off the glass to give the Spurs a 3-point lead. New York offensive efficiency vital here in this fourth quarter. No empty trips.
Sprewell lays it in. Elliott's next basket will be his first. Duncan looking for Elliott, but it's off his hands. Sprewell.
Sprewell, this is the shot you want him to take right here, the little pull-up. Malik Rose hits him on the wrist. The follow-through in the three-point play. Avery Johnson's going to come back into the ball game because they need to be able to get into their offense. How much more time can Popovich buy before he brings David Robinson back in the game? He's been a good rest right now into the third quarter to start the fourth. New York back up by 2.
Or does he?
Wow. Wow.
Tim Duncan from beyond the head of the key. This time he can't get it done.
Knicks need to keep running. They don't want to set up right now. That'll play into San Antonio's hands. Get something quickly.
Sprewell. When you feel it, why not? He's not really a three-point shooter, but tonight, anything goes.
Bob, if you touched him right now, he would shock you. All the electricity running through this guy's body right now tonight. He has been absolutely tremendous. Antonio, and who better than Letrell Sprewell? You lay off of him. He's not a three-point shooter. Well, tonight, he's shooting them from everywhere.
29 for Spree. All Ewing can do is cheer, but he can do it mightily. Duncan, again, and the same result.
See, he's getting so deep in that post. I think Jeff Van Gundy is going to have to give a little help. That's too easy there.
Houston to Sprewell. Turns, pops, hits.
You know what this reminds me of? Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Larry Bird and Dominique Wilkins.
Knicks by 3. Sean Elliott. Avery Johnson on the move. The floater is good. First Spur other than Duncan to score in a long time. Looking for the hot hand. He brings it outside, intended for Johnson. Robinson, with the great agility for a big man, steals it. Duncan inside to Robinson, blocked by Dudley, but a foul. And that'll be 4 on Dudley. Talking about Robinson's agility, he actually was a gymnast for a while as a kid. Under the basket to midcourt. He makes 1 of 2, but they keep the ball alive, and the Spurs retain it.
He's run off of it about 3 times now and passed the ball. He's got to look for his shot.
Here he is. Sprewell's on him. He takes a tough off-balance one-hander and misses it. Illegal defense. And that's the second one on the Spurs. So the Knicks will shoot. Jay Leno. Included on the show, South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Then it's Late Night with Conan O'Brien. Sprewell out of the double, finds Campbell.
Sprewell, watch him step through this double team. He steps right through it as Duncan takes a bad angle, and then Avery Johnson on the weak side has got to be inside that man who's. Well, this could be a big possession here. Remember now, it looked like Sean Elliott had the loose ball, the three-point play. So
shoot. Avery Johnson. 3 seconds to shoot. Johnson with the running hook. And Larry Johnson takes the rebound. Camby missed it, and the rebound to Duncan.
He couldn't find it. He had to look at New York's end to try to find it.
Duncan has it poked away. Ball out of bounds, touched last by the Knicks.
Jim Gray said, Jeff Van Gundy said, anybody but Duncan beat us.
Jaren Jackson is short with it. Robinson, though, on the offensive glass. And then he's fouled as he takes it to the rack. 71-70. Double to Johnson. Around the perimeter to Houston. Johnson again. Thought about a three. Instead drives the lane. Lays it up to Camby for the slam. Robinson goes to the right hand and goes to the line on top of it with a chance to tie the game.
Bob, Ahmad Rashad said to us, out of that timeout, Popovich said, go inside and don't give the ball up so quickly. Make them double team. You see, David Robinson had one thing on his mind, got away with a little jump step there in the three-point play opportunity as he got fouled.
Each team will be over the limit with its next foul. Sprewell, 5 seconds to shoot. Sprewell deals out to Johnson for three. Way off.
Continue to shoot that. Lost all confidence, Bob. 2 of 16 now in this series.
Mario Elie in the paint, but it's short. Sprewell, guarded by Elliott, fires over him and hits again.
That was good defense by Sean Elliott. That's the shot you want him to take. You don't want him to drive the ball to the basket.
Duncan out of the double to Ellie. Tries to tie it and does. Houston. Sprewell with 8 on the shot clock. Johnson screening for him. It'll be Sprewell leaning in, drawing the contact. And the foul goes against Duncan. It's Tim's second.
Well, Duncan had done everything right that time except the last minute he reached in.
4 in the second half. Clock. Mario Elie. Houston hounding him. 5 seconds to shoot. Duncan unleashes a three. It's off, but Sprewell can't corral it. Duncan got low. It was rejected by Camby, but there's a foul.
Have to favor New York.
1-point game. To the hoop. The ball is pinned between the rim and the glass, and that means a jump ball. It's Larry Johnson who grabs it.
So not letting him enter the ball to him.
Letrell around Duncan. Lost the handle for a moment. 3 seconds to shoot. They don't know it. Childs heaves it toward the hoop. Hits the side of the glass. And what a time for a 24-second violation. He has it against Johnson. They swing it around to Avery Johnson. The bounce to Robinson. Into the lane with the hook that's way off. To shoot.
Mismatch Sprewell in the post.
Back out to Johnson. Can he hit a three? He cannot. The Knicks have only 11 three-pointers in the entire series. Sean Elliott. Avery Johnson. Big hoop for Avery Johnson. The Spurs by 1. Avery Johnson, undrafted. bounced around the NBA, cut twice by the Spurs before sticking. Team grew 8 inches in the next couple of years to get to 5'11".
And how often have we seen teams say, Avery Johnson, you have to make shots in the fourth quarter? In the entire playoff series, all the rounds, he's been able to do that. The double team, Sean Elliott looks like he wants to shoot it and doesn't take that shot, the hesitation. And then he finds Avery Johnson on the baseline, the rotation from New York. Once they came out of the double team, no one found Avery Johnson. And a critical possession now for New York. They're down 1. But watch out of the double team. Now the ball's going to come to Sean Elliott. Letrell Sprewell goes back into the double team. And let's see what he does after he gets out of the double team. Here's Sprewell. And here is Avery Johnson right here. And let's see right now if they can find him out of the double team. Now watch Sprewell. He comes back across the floor. He gets confused. And in that little confusion, Avery Johnson spots up and gets the jump shot.
Sprewell off the dribble against Elliott. Lets it go. The scoring spree does not continue. And Avery Johnson, perhaps appropriately, has it.
Bob, I can't see the shot clock, but I think they're going to have to foul. I don't know how much disparity. It's about a 3-second differential. They're taking a real chance here if they let this burn out.
It's David Robinson. Robinson spinning to the basket. Muscles up. No whistle. But he got it back. Now they have to come foul. They unleash the shot, and Johnson chases it down and calls a timeout with 1.4.
Winding down.
Well, that was my point.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's what happens now. The clock is winding down because David Robinson's shot did not hit the rim. So when he kicks it out, he shoots a desperation shot to beat the clock. It hits the rim. This is great by Avery Johnson. It hits the rim. Now you recycle that shot clock. Now here's another second goes off the clock, and that's what I was talking with, only a 3-second differential. Now New York is down to 1.4 with this clock.
But they restored 7/10 of a second, and now it's at 2.1. To an NBA title for the Spurs, or to a Game 6 Sunday night in San Antonio. Spurs 78, Knicks 77. Ward will throw it in. Delay of game call. And they'll set it back up. Ward to a game Sprewell. He's underneath, trying to find something. The San Antonio Spurs have won their first NBA championship. 26 years coming, and the Knicks made them sweat for every bit of it.
And listen to the New York crowd cheer their team. Bob, they knew they were undermanned. Listen to this. This is a tremendous response to this crowd for the New York Knicks team and their effort.
For David Robinson and his wife Valerie, his 3 sons David, Corey, and Justin, here's Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much. I'm with an obviously very disappointed Letrell Sprewell. Awesome effort by Letrell. Tell us what happened on the last play.
Well, we tried to get a layup off the from out of bounds, but they did a good job of really collapsing down. I was too far into the basket, so just tried to get on the other side and make a shot.
Comment about the fight that you guys put up tonight. A lot of people would have expected maybe that this team mailed it in, but that wasn't the case.
No, we fought hard, and we didn't want them celebrating on this floor, but we have to give them credit. They came in, the 2 big guys played hard for them, and other guys stepped up and made shots as well, and they deserve it.
Your thoughts on the Spurs? Obviously, it's been a long road for David Robinson.
I mean, they deserve it. I mean, they worked hard, and they were the best team this year, and they deserve it. What else can you say?
Final thought. There's been so much controversy surrounding you. Do you want to come back, and do you want to play for Jeff Van Gundy?
Yeah, I plan on coming back.
And play for Jeff?
Yeah.
Letrell, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. Very gracious in defeat. Let's go back over to Bob Costas.
Thank you, Jim. And Jeff Van Gundy said yesterday that he has been told that he will be back as the Knicks coach next year. Tim Duncan making home movies. For Duncan, a title in only his 2nd year. And tonight, he scored 31 points, pulled down 9 rebounds, hit 12 of 22 from the floor. But for David Robinson, a long time coming, a decade in the league. 2 years before he came to the NBA, he was fulfilling his military obligation with the Naval Academy, so he waited 2 years, plus the 10. Sean Elliott, a couple of serious knee operations.
On the podium, the San Antonio Spurs, co-owners, Peter Holt, Juliana Holt, general manager, coach, Greg Popovich, co-captains, David Robinson and Avery Johnson somewhere. And now for the presentation, here's NBA Commissioner David Stern.
Thank you to the Spurs and the Knicks for giving us a great series. Congratulations to the New York Knicks and their fans for this season and this very exciting run. To the San Antonio Spurs, it was a spectacular series. To them, their fans, to their fans across America, congratulations, 1999 NBA champion, San Antonio Spurs.
For the city of San Antonio, a great ride. What's this mean to the city?
Oh, it means everything to our great fans who've hung with us for 26 years, the great owners that have owned this team for 26 years. Nothing better, nothing better.
And a historical win, Juliana, because the first ABA team to win an NBA championship.
Absolutely. I want to thank God for this fabulous team and the chance to be associated with such extraordinary gentlemen and most fantastic ball players of all time.
All right, congratulations. David Robinson. David. Co-captain David Robinson. You've been through many coaches, many changes, and finally an NBA championship. What's it mean to you?
I'll tell you. To me, this is just a journey that just goes to show that hard work and persistence pays off, baby. I love these guys, and I tell you what, one thing I learned to do this year was trust the Lord through the whole thing. He blessed me, he blessed his team, he took us to the top, and if you learn anything from this, baby, learn that the Lord doesn't give up on his people, baby. He takes you all the way.
All right, Avery Johnson. Avery Johnson. Here's a man.
That's what I'm talking about,
Everybody said, Avery, that you couldn't lead a team to a championship. Those days are over with now.
Little big man.
Yes, we're just so thankful for this opportunity. My teammates, they believe in me. Pop believes in me. The Lord Jesus believes in me, and that gives me a lot of confidence.
All right, congratulations to you. All right, now it's time for our presentation of the Finals MVP Award. And to make that presentation, once again, David Stern.
Ladies and gentlemen, join me in applauding a spectacular athlete, a terrific young man who averaged 27 points and 14 rebounds to be the most valuable player of the 1999 NBA Finals, Tim Duncan.
That I've seen you show throughout this entire playoffs. But this has got to mean something for you.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, everybody,
man, this is incredible.
In the league, all of a sudden, you win the MVP award.
This is incredible. It feels so great out here. The teammates came out here, and we had a tough game tonight. We pulled it out. We kept our focus throughout. We wanted to finish it now, and we did. We did a great job with it.
All right, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go back over to Bob Costas.
When we come back to the Garden after this. The San Antonio Spurs hoist the championship trophy. Tim Duncan holds the MVP trophy aloft. Moments ago, our Jim Gray talked with the Knicks coach, Jeff Van Gundy.
With Jeff Van Gundy back in his office, Jeff, I guess the first question would be, there was 26 seconds left and nobody fouled. Did you want someone to take a foul there?
No, there was really 28, and I think it was 28.4. We're going to play with 4.4 because we knew we could get the ball where we wanted. Unfortunately for us, the ball bounced long on the rebound and took additional time off. We got it where we wanted. We just caught it a little bit under the backboard.
How big a difference would Patrick Ewing have been in this series?
Well, obviously, you'd like to play at full strength, but that's not the hand we were dealt. You got to give credit to San Antonio. They played very well all year, but it doesn't take away from how proud I am of our guys. I'm disappointed in the result for them because they did so much this year that they should be proud of, not just winning and getting here, but also how they conducted themselves and refused to point fingers of blame when it was going bad.
Jeff, do you want to be back, and do you expect to be back?
Well, I'm sure those questions will all be resolved over the next couple weeks, but certainly I've been a New York Knick for 10 years, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
But you're leaving the door open, maybe based on the way you've been treated, you may not be back?
No, I'm not trying to. Jim, really, I'm not even thinking about that. This loss is so, disheartening for our team. All those questions will work themselves out.
Jeff, we appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on.
Okay, thanks.
Back out to you, Bob.
Interesting, Jim, because yesterday Van Gundy was saying that he had been assured that he would be back, and the way that was played in the New York press was that, in fact, he would be.
I think Jeff will be back. I think, this is a tough time for a coach. When you are this close and you are trying to win a championship, it's so very, very hard. But I think when it's all said and done, you'll see Jeff Van Gundy's back.
Let's go to Hannah Storm and the Showtime crew.
So, Bob, the San Antonio Spurs bring their city its first ever major professional sports championship as the Spurs become the NBA's first champion in the post-Jordan era, Bill.
And, Hannah, I am just so happy for David Robinson, who for the rest of his life, it will just be absolutely different for him. The level of satisfaction, the unbelievable sense of inner peace for David Robinson. And then Tim Duncan, just such a complete and near-perfect player. This is the start of something really, really special in San Antonio. And also a little note about the little guys, the role players, the Avery Johnsons, the Jaren Jacksons, the Mario Elliots, who have been told their whole lives that you're just not good enough. Don't come back here. They've been cut. They've been waived. They're going to walk around forever and ever and say, today, I am a world champion. There is nothing like that, Peter.
Bill, Duncan and Robinson might be the Spurs. In fact, they are the Spurs MVPs, but you got to go with Avery Johnson. His shot is the biggest shot of the series. It won this game. It's probably the biggest shot he'll ever make in his lifetime. He has a championship ring now. When John Stockton, Kevin Johnson, Tim Hardaway, and Gary Payton do not have them, the premier guards. And then there's Sprewell. Came to New York, branded an outlaw, and look at how he's turned it around. Come full cycle. Now coaches are sending him their neck sizes into New York. I mean, this guy is the best off guard in the league since Michael Jordan. But Hannah, you and I are ABA. This is where we came from. Blue. Dave DeBusschere should have been the guy presenting the trophy to the Spurs. He was the last ABA commissioner, and I'm so happy for the Spurs. George Gervin, James Silas, Billy Paultz, all those guys.
And all the people who didn't play for the Spurs. 23 years in the NBA. Now they become the first former ABA team to win a trophy in the NBA. Wide open at the start of the season, it was, Isaiah.
Yeah, Hannah. Now with the breakup of the Chicago Bulls, no Michael Jordan, there was really no one to focus on. Now we have a champion. Now the San Antonio Spurs will become the hunted. They'll have the focus of the GMs, the coaches, and all the players in the league, and we'll see how they respond to being the hunted right now.
It'll be up to everybody else to keep them, to figure out how they don't win twin trophies next year. Let's go back down to Bob and Doug.
Hannah, thanks very much. Amazing achievement by an 8th seed to make it this far, and let's not lose sight of how good a team it was that beat the New York Knicks in 5. The Spurs went 15-2 in the playoffs, just blitzed through the best teams in the league, and they were 8-1 on the road in the playoffs.
Well, Bob, we talk about Duncan and Robinson, and they were the main men, but there's no question the supporting cast. Tonight, Duncan and Robinson, 47 points. They were in the 40s the entire series. Tonight, 31 points for the supporting cast. Anytime they scored 30 or more, they won. The day they had 23, they lost. So you got to give it's a team effort.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks very much, Doug. For Hannah and Pete and Bill, Isaiah, Jim Gray, Ahmad Rashad, Doug Collins, I'm Bob Costas. Congratulations to the San Antonio Spurs. Winners tonight, 78-77. Winners of the series in 5. Champions of the NBA.